So, Brian, let's start at the beginning. How did you get your start?
So I started, I went to college in Texas, in San Antonio, and then it was a recession, thankfully, because there were no good jobs. So I had the opportunity to work in the film business. As an intern, I moved up to Austin, lived with my fraternity brother. He gave me a place to crash, and I interned on a Western called Net Blessing. I was a props intern. And what Austin reminds me a lot of what Montana is, as far as, especially like the Bozeman area, because it's a centralized area of a really small film community that works together and supports themselves, and also occasionally has movies come and TV series come from California or New York. And so it's almost like that, you know, you pay your bills, but I went to freelance, which I did for 15 years. In Austin, and then you get to work slowly on your own material. It seems like a lot of the stuff that the community here does. And so I worked freelance for years and started in props, moved into casting, and kind of then became an AD and worked for a line producer, did a bunch of Marvel TV movies all over the country as an assistant director. And then kind of figured out my niche, that producing is what I really like to do. And so I started working in short films in Austin and working on other people's short films and just kind of gaining experience. So that's how I started.
Okay. So, you know, what do you think Hollywood's perception of Montana is?
I think that there's a little bit of an issue right now because of the whole chasing the rebates mentality. Because you know, there's a lot of movies and TV shows that now take place in CIS and New Orleans, and everything's about Louisiana, but New Orleans is kind of getting played out. In Montana, when I produced 3 Other People, what happened was I actually visited a friend who lives here in Montana, and stayed for a week, and it was just so beautiful, gorgeous, and it had such a unique place that hadn't been captured on film that much besides River Runs Through It, the fishing movie. Right. And so I went back to a writer that I had worked with before and said, you know, Montana is this gorgeous setting, and it's an amazing place that we might be able to shoot a film. So that writer wrote a script of kind of these fish out of water people and these ugly people with these kind of ugly lives in this beautiful setting, but they're not aware of their surroundings in a way, and also, which represents they're not aware of their lives and they're not living in the present. So that's kind of how that came about. So that movie wouldn't have actually happened if I hadn't come to Montana in the first place. So, and then I think that the problem is that because everyone's chasing rebates, they're not focusing so much on shooting places that have that specific locale. I mean, I know that there's the HBO movie, what is it? That's been trafficking for 10 years. Lewis and Clark, yeah. They want to shoot here, but they don't know if they can because of rebates. And so when Alex and Andrew Smith, who are Montana filmmakers, who did the movie The Slaughter Rule, and also Winter in the Blood last year, they approached me about coming back to Montana, and my immediate thought was, well, if it's of a certain budget, we probably have to shoot in Canada. That was like an instant thought. And then when we really started crunching the numbers and figuring out that there are places that you don't have to work around and do CGI to make places look like you're in Montana, because their new story that they're doing was once again a Montana story, then we figured out there's a way that we could get to have the benefit of coming to Montana and shooting and not having to kind of chase the rebates. So, I mean, obviously Montana has a great grant program that's hugely helpful in convincing the filmmakers to come to Montana, and then also the rebate helps. So it's a good combo. It's, you know, it's not as strong as other ones, but it's also the fact that the crews are great hard workers and are real filmmakers that love film, and it helps, you know, incentivize to come back.